Okay, so this is it. This is part. Technically, this is part one of the Cultural Specialist, and and I may change the name of it, but for the sake of getting started and just not letting anything get in the way, we'll just call it Cultural Specialist. And I'm real big on doing things where build the building process. Like I'm real big on on having people, like, because I feel like I'm team oriented, like I'm a team player, like I'm somebody who likes to work with other people. I like to help build other people in the process of building myself. That I am okay with showing my trials and errors along the path of building. You know what I'm saying? This is the movement. You know what I'm saying? Like, real life happens in real time. In other words, like even my apprenticeship with the Temple of Hip Hop. You know what? Let me kind of go into a little history, because there's people that are probably watching this, stumble upon it on YouTube or wherever you may find it, and you're like, who's this guy giving this advice and talking like he's a consultant or some type of a teacher? And I do look at myself as that. You know what I mean? I am one because I got so much knowledge in me and so many experiences that, like, I'm like a cup overflowing, and I don't want to hold it all in, because if I hold it all in, then it's only going to do me good, and I'm the only one that's going to experience the blessings. No, but uh, so here's a little background on me. In 2004, I joined the Temple of Hip Hop, Preservation Archive School Society, or Ministry Archive School Society, you can call it, because we focus on the more spiritual aspects, the deeper meanings, the roots of of divinity, in terms of divinity in hip hop. Okay, through the language of hip hop. So the Temple of Hip Hop, it was started in 1996 by the teacher KRS-One, and what he did was he put together this organization that was for the preservation of hip hop culture by, teaching that you preserve hip hop by preserving the individual first. What's the point in preserving, artifacts and things and records and album covers and works and clothing, cars, etc., if the individual that produces this, the spirit that produces this worldwide phenomena, isn't being preserved in itself, through sickness, ignorance, poverty, doubt, self-hatred, stuff like that. These types of things can kill the human being, the person, the body, and then you have this life inside that dies with it. So what's the point of preserving other things and not preserving the individual first? So that's in essence the concept of it, but it's also towards relieving human suffering in the world as well. Human education against lies. Free yourself from the slavery of just daily life. We get bombarded and disconnected, desensitized, if you will, by the media and by other sources and other things, that we kind of get thrown off our own paths, and we ultimately end up forgetting who we are, what we are, and then we wither away. You know what I'm saying? Like, through life's outcomes or circumstances. So, the Temple of Hip Hop serves as a beacon of light, in the world. In the world, I say the world really because hip hop is an international culture. If And everything I say, you can Google it. You can Google it. You can go and you can, check to see if I'm fronting or if I'm telling the truth, And these are all things that I did too. Even when I started with the Temple of Hip Hop, I really, did my skepticism, went through my, I was a skeptic, 100%, no doubt. I was that individual where I was like, let me find out, just find out, and if you're lying, then I'm not with this, and I'll do it. I'm gonna expose this about, internally, this is how I felt, and I was like, and so these are the process. This is the step that these are the steps that people take, when dealing with a new idea. You refute it, you push it away, you laugh at it, you make fun of it, ultimately embracing the situation if it's for you. You know what I'm saying? Um, so anyway, so the temple of hip hop, and there are many people within the temple of hip hop who have come and gone, and there's teachers within the temple of hip hop, or should I say, really, there's one teacher in hip hop, or should I say, the temple of hip hop, and then there are people who have come to the teacher, to learn from him in this style of uh, teaching to learn this way of life. You have your martial arts, you have other cultures, you have other crafts, you have other things. Well, this is hip hop, and when it comes to hip hop, it's not only party and bullshit. You know what I'm saying? It's can you live a productive life by way of your discipline, you know, breaking MCing, graffiti writing, DJing, beatboxing, these five elements, I can't just give you, and see, I go into other things because I can't just talk about one thing without giving you the other and the history and the origins of something. So, but let me just kind of stick to what I'm saying and where I'm at right now, and then I guess I'll create other sessions, which is will give me more content. I'll give you more information on the history, as I've learned it and I've experienced it, the actual culture, the people and places that I've been throughout the world, and and then I'll go into that. But the reason so 2004 I joined the Temple of Hip Hop, and I became an apprentice, and I was given an opportunity to rise up. I was 22 years old. I'm 32 now. That was 10 years ago. Um, I was 22 years old. I was living in the Inland Empire. I'm from the Inland Empire, San Bernardino County. I was born in Glendale, and then I moved out with family as a child, as a baby. I moved to the Inland Empire, moved out to South Rialto, grew up out there, and then moved to Colton, and then lived out there for quite a few years, and then moved back over towards to Rancho Cucamonga, where I went to high school, graduated from there. Shout out to all my friends and family out here, and shout out to everybody that I know from the Inland Empire, Southern California. And then that's when I met, I was 22 years old, um, met the teacher, met the Temple of Hip Hop. And so I was given an opportunity to rise up, to become a man, sort of like a rites of passage, if you will, because of the way that I was offered the apprenticeship and the way that I became who I am today. Kind of this put you in the ocean and you learn to swim, knowing that you have sharks, dolphins, fish, octopus. You got all kinds of different animals or sea life that can influence your ability to survive and stay afloat. And so I became his personal assistant, and consisted with I was KRS-One, the artist's personal assistant, and things that pertain to assisting the artist in life. And then time went on. Then I became his. I was an apprentice first, and in the process of doing my apprenticeship, I kind of like was. Those were my degrees. I was coming up in degrees, and if you will, probably the best way. It's like saying it's like graduating from freshman, sophomore, junior, senior, and then going into college, and then going into your degrees in that sense. I never really graduated from my apprenticeship, even though my apprenticeship has lasted over Man, it's been almost 10 years now, solid 10 years. I may not be on tour with the teacher or be around him and, and etc., but that doesn't mean that my apprenticeship is still not, active, if you will. I'm still living my life, and my life has always been my classroom, the world that we live in, and so, I've been through a lot of things. I've experienced new environments, new circumstances, people, all types of different people, walks of lives, and their idiosyncrasies, and their habits, you know, um, and what, I'm looking at the time on this, the for the sake of editing and stuff like that, I think I'm gonna stop this now and then pick up again real quick. You may not feel it. Hold up.